All right, I think we'll just slowly get started with the Q&A and live coding webinar for today. So today we're building on the productivity app that we also were working on last time. And we're working on setting it up with the NX monorepo, as you learn in the course, and setting up a lot of the best practices around it, and as well as just working on finishing the client-side part of the application. Then the next time we can, using the architecture we created here, we can hook it up to Firebase relatively easy because we're using facades. And then lastly, we can just finish up the application and put it on the App Store, or at least host it somewhere where you can, maybe to begin with, just use it as a PVA if you want to. But yeah, we're gonna get all that ready. So I'll just start sharing my screen. And yeah, so here you can see the tasks that we were working on for today. So we will create the app lib and get data from a facade. That's just going to be hard-coded static data. And then we will create some logic to create tasks. So I was thinking something like you click enter, like Asana, the Asana, which is also a productivity app where you can just click enter, or Trello or something like that. You click enter and you can create a new task just like that. Some CRUD functionalities to edit a task. I think the debound thing, doesn't think that's not really important. We can just save and enter and delete tasks, so we get some kind of CRUD functionality at least around here. And then we could create some of this tagging mechanism. We can work on that, and then there's the navigation from the yearly view to the daily view we can work on. And there's going to be some extraction to common UI. So from now, we got this right now, which is in a more mobile view. It's going to look like this. So you can go back here and you can see like your weekly goals, and then you can click in there and you can go to your daily goals. So all that is pretty simple, and you can click here and you can check it off. You can edit stuff here, and you can apply some text here as well. So I fixed this from last time where it was this ugly drop down. So I created some styling fix to that. So so right now it's, can you see the code all right? Is it too small? I can just make it a notch bigger. It's probably make it harder to see. All right, I think this is good. And yeah, so we have the header, which we worked on last time, to setting up the page header. So that's this one here. Probably, I don't know about this thing, probably shouldn't have this kind of text decoration to it. It's probably a little bit too much. So we will have this be called probably left header controls, and I'm just gonna remove the text decoration from it, as it looks a little bit annoying that way. So, and I wanted to apply it to also the A tag. I don't know, probably only the A tag. So I did that. Yes, I'll just nudge up the size one more time. So yeah. Okay, and text decoration, and let's see. Yeah, I need to target then A. And yeah, this thing is taking up, so this should have some overflow, none probably, and then it should just overflow. It's taking up a little bit too much space, so that we can just make this a little shorter so I can go. Monthly, and so this becomes weekly. It's frozen. Yeah, it might. Yeah, actually, I had problems with the screen freezing when I switch around. I'm just trying to reconnect the screen. I'm stopping the share, and I'm sharing the screen again. Is it possible to see the screen? Okay. Just let me know if that happens. I think actually I need to reinstall Zoom or something because I had problems with Zoom calls this week. There's screen sharing not really working, so I might have some problem with the installation of Zoom on my computer. I think sometimes it just messes up, and yeah, it seems to be related when I switch screen like this. I don't know. You just tell me when it's not updating anymore. So yeah, text decoration on. We can go to, okay. So all this is all good. And we have this here. So probably I will just have this like that. Take up a little more space. And is it gonna, yeah, so. So let's create some way to remove them. That would be pretty easy. So we have these events here. We have one called delete. And as when you see the component here, I created this facade called app facade. So if you remember from the course, normally facades would be more like have a more feature specific name. But since this app is quite simple, I could call it something like a task facade or something, but I'm not really sure. That probably wouldn't stick either. So I just kept it with a pretty generic name, and then I'm open for breaking this up further when the app grows and it can be broken down into some more feature specific facades. But for now, if the app is just the size as it is now, one facade would probably be enough because this wouldn't grow too much either. Anyways, so that probably would be fine for now. But yeah, you can always break things up. Start simple, and then you can break it up when it becomes too complicated. So yeah, I have some delete event here. And so it's going to be like on delete, which is going to take, could be the task. And then you're going to have on delete here, which takes the task. And that's going to be this dot facade service dot so it could be like delete as well. Maybe just delete, because this is the event handler. This is more like the event. So we create a method called delete. Delete task probably, because it could be all this kind of stuff. Delete task with text and task in. And I want to move this down here. So it takes in the task, task. And pretty simple, we can write a little unit test for it. So so this kind of stuff you can do pretty easily TDD style. So I would just create I describe, I take the name of the method, and then I do it. And then what it should delete the task, of course. And pretty simple, it will take, actually I'm just gonna convert this to spectator because it's a little better. So it's called app facade service, app facade. Then it's called delete. It should delete task. So gonna have some tasks. That could be just the same task as these. Also, since last time I created a library for the interfaces, because we know in the next session we're gonna work with GraphQL. So we're gonna have some kind of shared interfaces between the client and the server. So so I'm just preparing that by offloading some of these interfaces that are clearly going to be shared between client and server to the shared library, so it can just get it from there. So, and the end result is so task to equal, and then I expect to just only have, let's say I delete the middle one. And poof, that's gone. So just say spectator to give us service spectator dot. Why is that not working? Oh, I haven't installed this yet. So it's a third party library spectator. Makes testing a little. You can see it's more compressed. It takes away some of the boilerplate with creating these kind of tests. So it's quite nice testing library I like to use, which basically just wraps the test bed and yeah, just makes it a little more simple to set up. So I'll just add this thing and add spectator. Also, it contains some cool testing utilities, for example, for mocking stuff, where you can just pass in a service as a mock here, and it will create either just mock functions or adjustments bias for each of the methods. So it's easily get a mock. Yeah, so let's say we want to delete the middle one. So results, that's what we have here. So right now this doesn't have a return value. So probably I should, yeah, I don't know what this should, probably you don't really return a value when you delete, especially now when I'm hooking this up to the server, I'm gonna run this with optimistic update. So I don't need the response right here in the UI part of the app. I don't need that. So I could imagine the response being irrelevant. So I would just read whatever comes from. So this will run, and then dot service dot tasks, and then I will do a subscribe on that one, and I'll get the tasks. Probably call these initial tasks. Then so yeah, I can just read from here and make sure it's that got removed. And yeah, and by the way, because I'm making an assertion inside of a subscribe callback, I need to use the done to tell it's here to tell the test case that this assertion, this subscribe callback has actually been called. Otherwise, this could be a false positive. So a false negative if yeah. So now I'm making sure that this is getting called, and yeah. So I got this tool for just where you can just run it like that. It's pretty good VS Code tool for running just tests. So what is going on here? Cannot find module Angular animations. Why does it even need that? Just preset. I just created this library, so I haven't really set up the test part properly. Or maybe it's just the plugin that is not working. I just try to run it same way. App lib. So we get the same problem with the app facade service. So what could that? Why could that be? Probably because it needs the Angular preset. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why. So I'll just set that up because it's nice. We can write some tests as we go along. So test setup.ts, and from here we need to make sure it's set up with the Angular preset. So just trying to find out doing this. So test setup. Yeah, it's pretty simple. This is actually all we need, just calling this. And I think that should make us all good. Of course, we need one more thing. We need to also include this in the jest config. So, and there's some other configuration which we need to set up. So like snapshot serializers. We set up this is how it's going to reference the test file which is inside of the test setup file, and there are some globals as well, which we need. Oh, this is already good. So I'm just trying to run it again. Just preset Angular. I'm just figuring out what this is. So it's probably something I need to install. Probably just preset Angular. Yeah, it's something you need to install. Yeah, we don't even have that. So yeah, that's why. Yes, if you want to run just test in your Angular app, you need this. So we can try again. Oh. What's going on here? Let's test out a file. It's deprecated. Moving. This import just preset Angular. Okay, we can try that as well. Probably wouldn't make a difference here. Because we still get this Angular animations problem coming from spectator, evaluating probably because we need to run it from just part. Angular animations from and it probably doesn't have anything to do with this one, but we're not using this one, so we can just remove that. Can't find module. So I'm just for debugging purpose, I'll just try to move everything from here, move this, and then this, and then just comment all this out. And see if it still fails. So is it from injectable? I'm not sure why it needs to have. Well, it's not here, maybe after all. So, we get some other error. And this actually makes sense. So it's actually the equality because I haven't implemented the function yet. So this is what we expect. It's, yeah, I can just get rid of these annoying warnings. Switch to serializers. Okay. That's HTML. So HTML component, HTML component serializer. That would be HTML component ng. That's the last one. So hopefully a little less warnings now. We got one warning left. The configuration of a string is difficult. AST transformers should be in the form of an object. Okay. I don't know, like. So at least now we're not getting any warnings anymore. So yeah, this is not implemented yet, so we'll just do that. And yeah, we can also just run this using this command. So it's coming from it's called just runner, this one. Component use imports from the new package like this import trigger Angular animations. Does my component do this? Right. So This basically is just gonna update tasks here. And so this probably should have been like some behavior subject. Then we can just do like this task. So since this is behavior subject, like that. And it's got a value, and we can just filter out. Just to delete. So yeah, pretty simple, just like that, and then just emit it from task again, and it's updated. And now we can try and run it. And let's see, it's still failing. So I'm passing this one in, and probably we didn't have any initial tasks, so I probably need to set that up. Oh, that's actually fine because it's hard coded. Fitness groceries. Groceries. Let's see. So this one. Filling out this thing, and then delete task should then update tasks. Just try and debug it. That's also something you can easily do with this tool. You can just debug. Of course, this should not have this. And I think it's just return it. And take it where it doesn't have the one to delete. Yes, and now it's passing. And we can even see it in the app as well. I think I restarted the terminal. So I think from here we could also so we can I think we should just finish the other pages in the app, and then we can extract some more UI components because probably a lot of the pages are the same. And then after we could probably do categories, how to add categories and stuff. I'm thinking this should open a modal when you click on this, and it should allow you to edit like the categories. But it doesn't seem like there's any other thing to do. Like, what else could you be doing here? Because it might be an overkill to create a modal here. But let's see, you can. Well, this is not really updating. Not sure if this is being triggered. So got this thing, and then we got tasks. So delete is there and underneath this. So so it seems like the delete is not being triggered and not triggered. So on delete, and so delete. Yeah, it's probably not hooked up to the click events yet. It's not. So when you click on this, click, and then you can do image, and you can just image like the task. And then likewise. And now we see, now we can remove stuff. So just build upon the other pages and finish them. So I think this is a good time to make a commit. So far added some, this is just so we make it on push as default, and I added this animations thing. For some reason it didn't have initially, and just preset Angular and spectator. And you can see I'm just starting to extract stuff to dump components like the header file, because that's repeating itself over and over again on the different pages. So maybe also also the task are being extracted now. Maybe also the list even could be extracted. Let's see how they repeat, but I could imagine that also repeating patterns, so I might as well just extract the whole thing. Yes, all right. So we can go to weekly and still have these kind of links. I think probably for all the links, we want to disable text decoration. So that's global style. We want to set in the app. So we go to months, then let's implement quarterly as well. So we could maybe start extracting the things in the weekly view, because that's going to make it easier to implement the other views. So in the weekly view, we have a different days of the week, and we have a task for each day. And when we go to the monthly view, it's going to be like monthly goals, and then it's going to be the different weeks and the weekly goals. So it's actually a lot of stuff repeating itself here. So we have like these groups repeating itself. So this group could just be a DOM component, and this as well as I see as another DOM component. So it's just one thing here, and then an NG4 repeating all this. So it's going to make it very easy to then implement these for other pages. So let's do that. It's just going to be three of these on every page. So it's going to be like the header here, and then it's going to be the different goals for the week or for the month, and then the goals for the period. So we're gonna have just this thing extracted, and so it's gonna have some title, And what about these links? Yeah, the title could have a link, and then if not, we're not linking to anything. Yeah. So this could probably, so if you go to shared, we could probably create a new shared. And by the way, so for this model repo setup, you always want to keep the shared code as close to where it's actually used, unless you know it's something it's going to be shared in different places. So for that reason, instead of adding shared code already to a shared library here, I'm keeping it in the app still, because I know it's only going to be used in this app. But later, if there's another app that also needed it, I will then move it. So I'm keeping it simple to begin with, and then I'm making it more general later as it's needed. So what should we call this thing? We could call it like a task group. But this can also be goals. So it's like, but yeah, a task group, and let's look at the interfaces. So it seems like actually, so these actually share some commonalities. Actually, a task is a goal in some way. So maybe the more generic name would be that, because this is going to be used both for task and goals. So a goal group, yeah, probably is the name I'll go with here. Maybe, let me see. So could also be, so goals and subtasks. Or maybe it's just all tasks actually. I'm not sure, because goals, but also just like subtasks. Let's imagine it's all the same thing. That could actually be an option, that it's all task, and then because it has this recursive structure, that it can all, yeah, goal basically just contains tasks as well. I don't think they're gonna have, maybe they're gonna have some other properties. So, but for now, so this is gonna be called a task group. So I go to shared. Let's close this. Go to shared components, and I create a task group. I'm making these. I'm using this. I'm creating a module for each of these components. So if I want to move them later, I can easily move them, for example, to a shared library. So it just makes them a little more autonomous if you create a module that contains all of its dependencies, as well as has this exports. So it's basically the interface of what's exported. So task group, I can just start extracting the HTML. That's gonna be the easiest way to start. And it's basically just basically the same as this, but it doesn't have these actually. So, but yeah, it's a little different actually. So task group, and then I could look at weekly, and then there's a list here with the weekly goals. So basically this is a group. And I like to focus on the interface when I design something. Let's see. Let me create it. Oh yeah. By the way, Son. Yeah, I already set this up to NX, so you can see it's set up with the NX structure. What I did was I just updated the Ionic CLI, so I had the newest Ionic CLI, and then I scaffolded this Ionic project from new, and I added the app we worked on last time, and then I just went into the Novel website. I googled migrating existing site, and then I just ran this what's the command called, ng add and then add Novel workspace. That's it. So there was actually no problem this time. So probably it was just some incompatibility between Ionic and Ionic and Novel. And then the only thing I needed to update to make it work with capacitor was I went in here and then I updated this web directory just to point to the right one. And yeah, it worked right after that. So actually there was no problems getting that to work. So yeah, just make sure you both have the newest version of Novel Workspace and the newest version of Ionic CLI. Yeah, and if you get problems like me, you can try just scaffolding a new Ionic project, and then you run the migrate the ng add Novel slash workspace command, and that should work. So we have some title here, which it's called goals. And it's gonna have some tasks coming in here. I'll just go back and see so I can remember what it was. So weekly goals, I just go in here. And so this is just tasks. So task tracked by. And it's going to be a task, which is going to be an input. So the inputs so far are we have a title, so just a string, and we have the tasks, which are the task array. And then we can just, this should probably have, so we're going to use slot for positioning this. So this is going to be at the start, and this just it's going to be the default. So it's going to look a little better. And that's, yeah. So this is actually, yeah, that's good enough. And we have a task. But maybe we want, probably we want to be able to edit and delete as well. So probably this is just going to be the whole task from the task module. I think it's just the same actually. And then got the title. So I need to export this task module, need to be part of these. So now when I go to weekly, we actually got this is duplicated now. So I will need to just get rid of the old one. Then we have some fairly easy way to repeat these. And probably then need to be a little bit of separation in between. So this is also, so this is like in, so these are actually a little different. They are a little smaller. So maybe we should just have some, so this could be like the main. And if not, then it's an H3. And we could just add some built-in like post margin button, then that could be display block, and then marking button, and that could be like 16 pixels. Yeah. And probably if it's main, it needs to be a little bigger. So main could be like 24, and then we can use the host listener, host binding actually, and we can just bind to main, a class called main. So whenever this is true, then a class called class.main will be bounded here. Yeah, we got some. Let's take some Q&A. Yeah, so Søren is asking, how do you deal with increasingly complex components growing with tens of inputs, outputs? So in that case, if you get many inputs and outputs, the first thing you want to do is you want to group them. There's this magic rule of 7, where 7 is the number that humans can manage in the head without getting in cognitive trouble. So whenever you get more than 7 of anything in a class, component, or inputs, you want to start grouping them in like more abstract concepts like an object. So you will find like you will look for cohesion between some of the inputs and see if you can group them into one thing. That's the first thing you want to do. If it really grows even past that, you might want to split that up into some other component. That might be the thing, or you might need to do content projection instead. So do like NG content. If like you have complex stuff that's not just inputs, but it actually would be nice to have like a plugin architecture where you plug in some div or some element in a specific placeholder. So if it's maybe many inputs, it might be a smell, but you actually just need to use ng content or maybe pass in a template ref or something like that. So you should use projection instead, depending on like how much of it is actually containing UI. But probably it's a smell that you either need to use objects or you need to use content projection. So, and then we got another one. Also, how do you deal with components needing to call facades functionality from other modules? Exactly, for example, a data service. So if you need to call other ones, you can't go facade to facade. You need to call from other modules. So you're talking about a component needing to call facade functionalities from other modules. A data service. So why would a component? So I guess you're talking about an Angular component here. So need to call facades from other modules. So let's say we have a food service getting food data down, then component in different module needs this data. Yeah, you can then just use the same facade in the component. You can just inject the facade and you can get the data. The facade probably has some way to get it from the cache, so you can get it as well. Yeah, but I think that's it. And if you, yeah, I guess you would just inject that facade that's containing that's giving you access to the data you need, and then you get that data. Oh, so it's like used on multiple libraries. Yeah, it will then be more shared. So it could be like yeah, you could move it. You could move it to a more shared location then. So let's see in the whole architecture where that just I could open up Slack and see some of the examples. Or if I just go to the course. So let's see. Just moving this around. Yeah, so let's look at how that. So probably it's this one we need to base it on. Oh, is that not here anymore? What about this one? I don't know. Are these links expired? I need to get them updated. I don't know if I can find them. Existing diagram. I can find some diagrams. I'm not sure. Probably I can just find them in our Slack channel. So since Slack we have all these examples, I probably have it posted some way. Have a lot of examples. Could be this one, for example. So yeah, if you have inside, what you could do, you could create like a data access, like a shared library inside of your app library, because it's just something that's shared between these. Uh, has this full facade, but then has a list which has it. So I have a food list which has a food facade, but then I have a shop list which has a shop facade. These two needs a food data, so the shop list calls the food facade. Yeah, in that case, I will go through the facades. So it's like look at it like microservices. In microservices, you will never go directly to the database. You will go through the web API always, and it's the same concept here. The facade is the microservice web API. So always go through the public interface. So yeah, that's probably the best way I can answer that. Just think of it like microservices and go through the public interface, which is the facade. That way you ensure good encapsulation. All right. So I just added this host binding, and so it should add this class if this is the main one. And I'll just add that now. So I will add this input here, is main, and then I'll say true. And then it looks like it got slightly more separation. Yeah, it did. Okay, great. And then it also, you can see these differentiate a bit. So yeah, all of these. So just to get an overview, I'm just going to keep this for now. So day is, so that's basically going to be the title. And that's going to be the tasks. And it's not going to be main. And there's not really any link here. We don't need that. And then we added this HR. Yeah, don't need that. So now look like this. That doesn't look very nice. Probably I messed up some of the formatting of. So Yeah, now this is been pretty simple. We broke it up, as I said, like, and so it's basically just 3 parts, and yeah, we have some iteration here. The div is actually not necessary, so let's get rid of that. You want to keep it as simple as possible, so if anything you get rid of, just get rid of. And we still need the link, so we can do like title URL, so make the title go to somewhere, and in this case I just want it to go to all the way back. So if this is specified, we can set the title. So we could, what would be a good way to do it without too much conditional stuff? We could probably need to add this in both places. The main is not gonna need any linking now, but this could need it. Yeah, this should actually always have a link somewhere. It's called router link. And it's complaining because I don't have the router module right now. Now it's all good. And then we can do title URL. Title link. Probably be a better name. So now we can do that. Yeah. Okay, all good, all good. And then be able to easily edit these from here. I want that option as well. So it's just now we just moving this to the next one level up. So we can now easily implement monthly, because it's basically just consisting of this thing now. And I'm thinking if we could extract even more of this, but it's probably good enough now. So monthly will look the same. This, so we want this to be SCSS. And but it's all the same. So monthly goes to quarterly. And probably for the month, we just want to mention the month. And this goes to quarterly. And yeah, let's still have categories. And we can just, because this is just repeating over and over again, so this is just goals. And then this becomes monthly goals. And then this becomes months. This could probably be made more generic, like tasks and maybe months. Month. It's gonna have the date. It's gonna have some tasks. And just compare the weekly. So it's more just goals, really. This is monthly goals. We have goal. And then we have the months, which are in a day. That's even a day and it has some other properties, but so day and a goal. A goal has tasks as well. Yeah, what could we name these? So could have. So yeah, they has the reflection as well, and it's just a collection of tasks. So it's like a task period. That would be like probably a better abstraction, because it's like a grouping of tasks over a period, and then you can. It's not the same, because you wouldn't do the same kind of like reflections on a. Or you could actually on a monthly basis. Yeah, you could. So you could actually do that. So task period. Let's try and work with that. So yeah, that's okay. Hit that and categories. Then the goals. So this would be monthly goals, and then we have the different months. Task periods. Task period, and then it has. Then I probably cannot find it now. I'm just gonna take a look at weekly again. Should be able to find it. No. Task period. Now it does. So this is good now. And categories we can get from the facade. And these are like main. Like the goals for the period. So just like that. And then we could just use app facade service, to then get the categories, but it's not like the same categories. It's more like categories for the monthly view. So yeah, we could just, let's start using the facade, setting that up for this the right way. So categories, that actually becomes like daily categories. So this is monthly categories, and yeah, for the current monthly view, it will have the categories, and I just need to add it to monthly categories. So it will just take some list of categories for now, but it could just be the same as this thing. That's probably good enough for now. And then this categories, that's more like daily categories. And yeah, that's an observable of string array containing categories, and set the monthly goals, and then task period, which is this thing, and then task periods, which will be the, we can use the app facade service, and then ask for the, and then yeah, this should be an observable task period. This will be an observable of this, and this will be the monthly task periods. And then later, when I start using GraphQL, I will actually use the GraphQL cache for getting this data. When you use GraphQL, Apollo GraphQL, you don't really need to use NGIX. It seems a little overkill to use NGIX when you have GraphQL caching already in place. So yeah, just a side note on next time when we'll start using Firebase and setting up the service with GraphQL. Yeah, we can just use that. So categories. Yeah, so that's why I keep this pretty simple in the facade, because I know it's going to be replaced by some state management solution, Apollo GraphQL. Monthly task periods, and then yeah, all of this is just hard-coded lists, so I don't really care about the data. It's just for presentation purpose now, so you can see something on the screen. task period, and then yeah, that's some task periods. So I might just create like 3 of these. And task period contains needs to have the now this is task period has date and tasks. So date could be just some new date. This is this. You can also add some ID. Probably it will. I don't know if you should be able to delete a task. Probably there should not be any delete option for this. So I will probably need to configure this to not show that, but it doesn't have an ID. So yeah, I think these should always be visible, because it's for a certain period of time. New date, and that's gonna be like could be 20 with like 27 today. So and then the tasks will be just these. Maybe we're just gonna take the ones that we had from weekly, monthly, and then in the weekly. So it's gonna have like 4 weeks. So I'll probably just take 4 of these. So this is a task period, and these are the tasks, and let's see. So I don't actually need to. So I take the task period, and it will show all the tasks for this period, and the tasks are actually gonna be. So I basically just want to show like these. I could just take this. So yeah, that, and then I could create another one of these. So we would normally have like one for each week in the month, and then this will contain all the weekly goals as well. So just repeating this a couple of times. I'm gonna throw away the test days anyways. So yeah, month with 4 weeks, and then quarterly it's gonna be like all the 3 months in the quarter. So that's gonna be pretty similar. I can just prepare that now. So we're gonna have quarterly task periods. It's just going to equal the monthly. Then we have the yearly, which is going to contain 4 quarters as well. So that's going to be the same thing, yearly task periods. And then we can just finish the pages pretty easily. Now we have everything just extracted down to simple pieces. So, and this is gonna link down to actually the weekly and quarterly. So when we go to quarterly, it's pretty empty right now. So all we need to do so I'm just adding the shared module. And I just need to pass some inputs into this. Looks like all of this could probably be made a little more generic, but who knows, I might need to change something later. So I keep it, I'm sacrificing some copy paste. I'm doing some copy paste just to make it more flexible for changes later. And then, so this is the monthly, and here we got the quarterly. Oh. Don't even need the months. So that could be quarterly goal 1, then quarterly goal 2. And then that's going to be quarterly categories, if that exists. It doesn't exist, so I'll need to add that. And that's just going to be duplicate of the other categories. So again, I can start grouping this by the period of this. Categories, monthly categories. Yeah. And then this is quarterly task period, and this should be the same. String is not assigned. It's a string. Yeah. So this should be a quarterly or monthly task period. And then, so this should be called quarterly goals. A quarter would probably be like Q1. And that should go up to yearly. And so this is quarterly goals for period, and then all this stuff. This should be linking down to the monthly. So yeah, and then we just need to change this. So it's going to yearly. Yeah, pretty simple. Looks like the other pages, and this can link down to monthly. We can go back to yearly, and yeah. And yeah, yearly, it's the same thing one last time. So let me just fix this. So we can probably make it pretty fast this time. So quarterly, we got quarterly here, we add this here. So this should actually not even have a back URL. Daily, we can make it go back to the current day. So, and so this is the quarterly goal. This is the yearly goals. And here we just want to show the year and goals period. And just like that. And then instead of a quarterly, this should be yearly. So yearly and yearly, and importing this, this, this. Yearly categories, and this would be equals to the monthly categories. Yearly task period, that's actually the wrong one. It should be here, and this should be like the monthly or quarterly task periods. Doesn't really matter. It's all is going to be replaced with getting the data from GraphQL. Yeah. Yearly goals, and then this should be the different quarters. So yeah, that'll be like Q1, Q2, and such. And then we click that, we go to, yeah, it should of course go. So from yearly, it should go to quarterly. Then we can still see this at this opening twice. Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, yearly. Then this goes all the way back. We go through the different weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, daily. All right, and then yearly. So yeah, we could do some more with this stuff, but it's kind of waste of time since we're gonna start all over again when we work with Apollo. I still think we can delete them here, but we can delete them here. So I think we will not do anything more with the crowd operations here. Also with the tags and the sorting, that's also going to be handled with the state management solution. That's just going to filter out some of these. So let's wait with this. Yeah, there's some bug here. It's opening twice. I will fix that as well. So I think that's pretty much it for this session. We have set this up now. So we have the UI for the application, the basic functionality. We can even delete some tasks. And there's of course there's some things like we shouldn't show the trash bin here because we shouldn't be able to delete these. So some of this is not correct, but we will get it when we start to hook up with the real Firebase and GraphQL, and make it more into a real app that you can actually start using. So so that's it for this session. We managed to set it up with NX, the NX structure, and yeah, we can just see what we went through here. This is just extracting to some more reusable UI components inside of the shared folder in the app, and then we just finished like all the different overview pages. So I can just like task period. So we implemented these. And yeah, next time we're gonna hook it up by changing what's happening behind the facade. So it's gonna work with real data. And we are setting up with some login solution as well. So yeah, we can use Firebase authentication for this. So we can log in with a user. And yeah, this got set up with NX. So so we can when they add another service, we can do like smart bills and smart linting and such. So we don't need to run lint and bills and test on the whole project, but can limit it to only the affected projects in the monorepo. So yeah, that's it. I wish you all a good weekend, and see you next time. And yeah, just hit me up in Slack if you have any questions, and I will post this somewhere on GitHub, so you can get access to the code if you want to dig further into that. So bye, see you next time.